What up folks, Graphics Rogue here and welcome to Uploaded. So up for today, Angry Joe got hacked. That was pretty crazy. And there's a couple of games I heard about that I'm pretty much looking forward to, and I just wanted to talk about on the show. So this happened a couple of weeks ago, but I just didn't have time to do any recordings about it. But Angry Joe's channel got hacked pretty hard. Like I think it was March 13th. I'm gonna put up a tweet in the video. First of all, I got up, I messed around YouTube, I saw Angry Joe put out a video, I was like, oh, cool, let's check out the video. The title was something like, I raped my daughter, or something weird like that, and I was like, something weird like that. And I was like, oh, well, let's see what this is about. And I opened it up, and it was the craziest, weirdest bullshit. It was some kind of loop of a moonhead guy doing weird stuff on a piano. It looked like a nightmare. It looked like I was having a nightmare. There was a robot voice saying a bunch of weird racist shit and weird rapey shit too. It was like, whoa, Angry Joe's taking his channel in a new direction, isn't he? Oh, Angry Joe's getting edgy. And I was like, what the fuck is this? But after about 10-15 seconds, I'm like, oh, it's hacked, isn't it? Angry Joe got hacked, didn't he? And then I noticed on the video it says something about hacked by blah blah blah. And Angry Joe didn't make a big thing about this, he didn't make a video about it. I understand why he doesn't want to give the guy credit. I don't want to give him credit, so I'm not even going to say his name, but it was stupid. A lot of people probably already know. He's just some asshole does a lot of hacking YouTuber videos, and he does a lot of swatting against people from what I hear. And he's sounds like a piece of shit who should be in jail. But who knows how that all set out. That was nuts. I went to his Twitch to see if anything weird happened there. His Twitch got deleted, so apparently the hacker got to his YouTube account and got to his Twitch. Now he deleted his Twitch, but he did not delete his YouTube account. And he did that because he wanted attention. That's why he uploaded the video and didn't just delete the YouTube channel. He wanted attention. He wanted everybody to see that he did it and think that he was a cool guy for doing it. And later on in the day, the Twitch got set back up, and I saw that he had been streaming this weird fucking nightmare video. When I was watching it, I felt like something was gonna pop out of my closet. It was scary looking. Yeah, he was streaming that shit. And it was very weird, and oh god, after a while, I guess the video was up for maybe an hour-ish before Joe got up and saw it, and he left a tweet. Let me look at this tweet real quick. He says, hey guys, I'm awake dealing with this messed up situation. I'm on it right now. Thanks so much for the heads up. He left a couple other tweets later on talking about it again, but he didn't really say much about it, just they were dealing with it. And eventually they got the Twitch back up, they deleted those videos, and nothing more was said about it. And I was like, oh, jeez, this is a little moment, isn't it? I just stumbled onto that shit. Like, so many people would not even know about it because he didn't make any video about it. It was just nuts. It was this crazy thing about this psychotic person hacking into one of the biggest YouTubers' channels, uploading some weird video about racism and raping and disgusting shit. And I was there for it. I saw it happen live, and I saw the deletes, and I was on his Twitter waiting for him to say stuff, and he eventually said a couple of things about it, but he didn't really say all that much about it. It was like, oh, crazy day. That was nuts though, so I hope the best for him. I hope he dealt with it, dealt with the guy. I hope something happens to this guy, whoever is doing this. I think I might know who the guy is. I'm not going to say his name or anything. I don't give him attention or anything. But hopefully he's dealt with, hopefully the guy's dealt with, and keep your head up, Joe. It's crazy out there on the internet. It's crazy, a crazy old Wild West world in the internet, and you gotta keep your head up. Speaking of the Wild West, by the way, great transition, I'm very proud of myself. Red Dead Redemption 2! What? This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Just a couple of days ago, I heard this thing about Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't even know they were making it, but apparently it's been making waves since like 2015. People were talking about it. I heard some weird thing about some disgruntled office worker in Rockstar who spoiled it, like last year or something like that. I'm not sure how that's all about, but I guess people already knew it before I knew it, so that's fine, that's great. But currently, it has been announced that they're going to pretty much give us a sneak peek of it, a little announcement or whatever, at E3 coming up. That is this year's E3, held on about June 14th. And if that's true, then that means it could come out to the public by around 2017, I see. And that is fantastic, because I do love my cowboy games. I do love cowboy stuff, though. It's I was really into cowboy stuff when I was littler. And yeah, I loved Red Dead Redemption when it came out. I loved the first Red Dead game. Now, not a lot of people know about the first Red Dead game, Red Dead Revolver. I played that shit back in the olden days. I played Gun, which was another really good cowboy game for the PS2. Red Dead Revolver was also for PS2, but Red Dead Revolver was a lot more, I don't know, campy? Maybe that's the word. Red Dead Revolver was very weird. It was a lot less realistic than Red Dead Redemption, that's for sure. It had, I think, magic or some weird shit. I don't remember a lot from it, but I remember it was weird. I remember thinking it was weird. Also read a rumor on a site called fraghero.com. I've never heard of that site before, but this is where I read it from. Some employee of Rockstar emailed them or something like that and said they're gonna announce it during E3 this year. It'll be coming out in fall 2017. He said that the game would be a bigger open world and would have more than one playable character. And you know, they did that in Grand Theft Auto 5, and some people liked it, some people didn't, but it makes sense that they would continue that more than one playable character thing. I love Red Dead Redemption. Now, I'm not sure if I like the idea of more than one playable character, because it just splits apart the story, I guess. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm not sure I even plan to. I got more and more disappointed with Grand Theft Auto after San Andreas. I loved San Andreas, and then it just went downhill from there. But it also sounds like Red Dead Redemption might be turning into a permanent franchise, maybe a Red Dead game every few years, just like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, they're going to be making those for years to come. And they'll probably be making Red Deads for years to come, because people liked that game a lot. It was a really cool game. John Marston was cool. Picking flowers was cool. Hunting mountain lions was cool. Fucking Bigfoot was cool! And it was all dope. And if this Red Dead Redemption 2 Legends of the West, as they believe it might be called, is real, that'll be pretty cool too. Another thing I heard was that there might be a HD remake, or an HDification, I wouldn't want to call it a remake, of Red Dead Redemption. Maybe coming to the PS4, possibly, who knows. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, it looks good enough on the PS3. I don't see what the use of making people spend more money to get it on PS4 would be. For 10% better graphics, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. But that might be something they're doing. Might not. I would expect it is. They seem to be PS4-fizing all the big games these days. They PS4-fized Last of Us and some other stuff, so they might do that to Red Dead as well. And if so, that'll be just fine. And another game that I heard about that I am pretty excited for is a game called I Am Setsuna. It's a game I heard about relatively recently. In IGN, the plot is pretty much summed up as it revolves around this girl preparing to make a terrible sacrifice in order to save her people from a monster invasion. Along the way, she meets a young man who helps guide her on a journey. This unnamed Male character has not been revealed, but he will be the main playable character in the story. And the article even points out how similar that plot is to Final Fantasy X. And Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games of all time. This plot sounds so JRPG, and this whole game it's going to be the most JRPG that ever JRPG'd. That's what it sounds like from all the stuff I'm reading. It's being published by Square Enix. Square Enix is trying to relive their old golden age of JRPGs again, or to them, RPGs, since they're a Japanese company. Ever since Bravely Default came out and it was a success, they were like, what? People like RPGs? That's bullshit. They only like pachinko machines and action games. Well, that's crazy. But no, they found out that people actually still like RPGs after deciding themselves for no reason that people didn't like RPGs and started making pretend RPGs like Final Fantasy 13. And no, we got a whole new surge of old school type RPGs coming from them now, and it's starting to get more and more. The game developer is let me look at this game developer right quick. They're called Tokyo RPG Factory, and from the director, he's saying this game is his name is Hashimoto. He's saying it's getting a lot of its roots from old RPGs. It's a big mixture of Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, and from the videos and pictures I see a lot of Chrono Trigger in this game. They say the battle system is very similar to Chrono Trigger, and if so, that's really cool because I love the hell out of Chrono Trigger. I just discovered Chrono Trigger like a couple of years ago, and I played it and I loved it. And it was a fantastic game, and it's apparently one of the games from the olden days, and during Square's, I think they were called Squaresoft back then, one of Square's big golden age of JRPGs and whatnot. And that was a good game, and if the battle system is like that, it's gonna be sweet, because that was a sweet battle system. I like it a lot more than Final Fantasy VI's battle system. It didn't feel as good, it didn't look as good. Chrono Trigger battle system, Chrono Trigger holds up very well. Y'all should try to look up Chrono Trigger. That's a very good old school JRPG game. I think it's for Nintendo DS now. They ported it over there, and it's probably a better DS game than a Super Nintendo game or whatever console it was on. This game is being made for the big screen, as said by the director, Atsushi Hashimoto. They're really making it for PS4 and PC, and not much news for the Vita. They say if there's a big demand, they might bring a Vita version for the Westerners, for the Americans, and if they like it enough, maybe, whatever. I don't have a Vita. I'm not gonna get a Vita for a long time, so I'd rather play it on the PC anyway. But this kind of game, from the screenshots, it looks like the perfect game to be on Vita. I mean, it's a smaller scale game. I mean, I don't know its scale, but graphically, it's a smaller, graphically scaled game. It looks more like Final Fantasy IV Remake than anything. The little polygonal characters walking around the big open world map like that. Yeah, it looks a hell of a lot like just an up-resed version of Final Fantasy IV Remake. And I love that game, by the way. That's a fantastic JRPG. I didn't play the original, but Remake is great. I even seen in one of the videos there's a move that looks very similar to the X-Strike in Chrono Trigger, and if you're a fan of Chrono Trigger, you'll be like, oh man, that's so crazy. I can't believe it. It's so similar looking, the battle system. Even the moves with the X-Strike. That'll be pretty sweet to just see all those old moves back in a whole new game. The director says the feel and style of the game is going to be very emotional. He says Setsuna means like a type of poignant sorrow in Japanese. So from the way these articles all looked, from the way he's talking about it, this Mishimoto guy, yeah, it sounds like there's going to be revolving around a lot of sadness and sorrow and depression. Oh no, more and more it's sounding more and more like Final Fantasy X, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I love Final Fantasy X, but do you just want to make the same game, or do you want to make your own game with your own story? I'm not sure it's such a good idea to just straight up copy the story of Final Fantasy X. Hashimoto said in an IGN interview they wanted to make transition into battles very seamless, and once in attack mode the protagonists have active time battle gauges like in older Final Fantasy games. That sounds pretty cool. As well as a separate Setsuna gauge that when full grants special boosts to actions when abilities are used at specific times. It says Hashimoto hopes that the new tech will make the combat feel fresh and claims that events like boss battles will have a real sense of achievement. And yeah, I've heard in another interview he talks a lot about how he wants the boss battles to have a lot more of a feeling of achievement and just emotion to it. He said in a GameSpot article, "I would say that it can be boiled down to 2 points. First is the visual impact it makes approaching the boss and recognizing it as a formidable foe and wanting to take on the challenge. You must be visually drawn to the boss battle. We want our titles to be very memorable. So another fact I feel contributes to a great boss battle is remembering how you had to strategize and thinking in the moment about what you could do to beat the boss remains in your memory." Yeah, I get what he's saying about that. I mean, I think I had a lot of feelings when I first went up against Magus in Chrono Trigger, that first battle in that dark castle he was in. That was a really cool fight with the way it weaved into the story, and just he was a very menacing looking figure, and he looked really cool. And I could also say that about my own childhood fighting Seymour for the first time in Final Fantasy X. That was a very memorable battle for me. It was a hard battle for me. It took me a lot of times to beat him. Every battle when I was little in that first playthrough of Final Fantasy X, it felt like it took a long time. It felt like it took weeks for me to beat it. Probably didn't take that long for some of them, but they all felt hard and they all felt pretty memorable, except for the last Seymour battle. That one wasn't quite as memorable. That one I was like, I think they're going a little too far with the Seymour shit. But definitely the first one, I love that one. But yeah, it sounds like these guys are really into the old school JRPGs, and they're really turning this game into an homage of the old RPG games. I read that he says it's not supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger, it's more like an homage to all those old JRPGs of the golden age, which Chrono Trigger was definitely a part of. And from the way he's talking about it, it feels like this team is really into the idea of making another just straight up old school JRPG with the old timed turn-based battles, and they really want to work hard to make it a good thing. You gotta take it all with a grain of salt though, because developers say a lot of shit before a game comes out. Ultimately it'll be when the game finally comes out and we play it and we'll see if it's a great thing then or if it's a piece of garbage. We'll see when that happens, but I got high hopes for it. I'm gonna check it out when it comes out. It looks exactly like what I want, because I love Final Fantasy IV Remake and I love Chrono Trigger. I love those old, well, not too many older JRPGs. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VI. I kind of like it, but I'm more into Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV Remake. I played that after Chrono Trigger because I was looking for another game kind of like that. And this game, graphically, is very reminiscent of that to me. And I Am Setsuna is set to come out in 2006, maybe during the summer sometime, possibly, who knows, we'll find out. It'll be on the PlayStation 4 and PC. I think it might go to Vita in Japan. I'm not quite sure about that. I see a bunch of different mixed sayings about that. It definitely won't come straight to Vita in the West right away. They'll wait for demand and see if enough people want it, then maybe they'll come out with a later version, something like that. We'll see about that. But I am excited for the game, and if there's anybody else who's really into JRPGs, here's a little heads up. We might have another cool old school JRPG coming our way. An old school JRPG for the modern age. And another thing I heard about is Sony will be releasing a new kind of PS4, a different kind of PS4. There doesn't seem to be a name for it, but some are calling it like PS4 4K. It's going to be a whole new system. I mean, the same system, but it will have enhanced graphics and enhanced power. And it'll be, it's being made so it can work with virtual reality. Sony's really trying to catch up with this Oculus Rift thing. They're trying to make their PlayStation VR. I'm not sure if that is a different thing. Sony's admitted that PlayStation VR, which is powered by PS4, may be technically inferior to Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. I've never even heard of that one. I've only heard of the Oculus Rift. I didn't even know PlayStation was making their own VR, so I guess they are. So it looks like that's the whole reason for their making this new PS4. a new PS4 which has enhanced graphics and power that can handle VR, that's probably still not as good as a PC. So, points for trying, I guess. When the PS4 came out, it was about 10-ish, 10-15% graphically better looking than the PS3. And when this PS4 4K or whatever it's going to be called comes out, it'll probably be maybe 15 to 20% better looking than the PS3. So if you want a 20% better looking gaming experience for about fucking $600, which it'll probably cost, it'll be somewhere between $300 and $600, if not more, then this is the thing for you. This is the new gaming system that they want you to get. They want you to get this if you want to play any of that VR stuff. That might be interesting. I hear the VR stuff is going to be pretty cool for horror games, and I don't doubt them. And just thinking about playing with those VR headsets while playing something like playing PT, that would have been a horrifying experience. It was scary to watch PT with Let's Players. It was scary to watch PT with the Game Grumps or the best friends. Imagine just playing that with that VR headset. That would be a horrifying experience. But that's exactly what this is for. They need to upgrade their hardware if they want to try to push this VR gaming a little further. They're gonna try to push the VR gaming like they tried to push the motion controls a few years back. Motion controls are kind of dying out. They're kind of going down. I'm not sure if Wii U even has a lot of motion control games. From what I've seen, Wii U is like a controller-based thing, right? Does it even still do motion controllers? The new Wii? I don't know. I feel like I don't hear a whole lot about motion control games much anymore. And I wonder if this new VR stuff is just going to be another fad like that. Although I did recently get a Wii and one game for it, Skyward Sword, and I also downloaded Paper Mario N64 game off the Virtual Console, which was free because I could play Skyward Sword at the time because I didn't know I needed a Wii Motion Plus accessory to play, so I had to wait another day to get that. So I played Paper Mario and it was great. I love Paper Mario now. That was a fun ass game. I'm gonna play more of that. I got it because it was really cheap, and there are a couple of games for GameCube and a couple of games for Wii that I wanted to play, so I decided just to get a Wii. They're extremely cheap now. A Wii system with all the stuff is like $50 or a little less. So I might have to wait till the Wii U is like around that, maybe $50 to $100 in a few years before I can finally get a Wii U and discover if there is motion control games. Who knows? I could look it up right now, but I don't feel like it. That's how I roll as a newsman. Hey Rogue, is there a serial killer in the neighborhood? Who knows? Who cares? Lock the doors, but it won't matter. If there is, he'll just get through the windows. Oh well, I'll just put my sunglasses on and lay down. Who cares? Rogue Empire News. Will I get the new PS4 4K or whatever they decide to call it? Maybe in 100 years when it's down to a reasonable price, but not anytime soon. I can't even afford the PS4 right now. But it might be interesting. If it really is that much of a hardware bump, it might be worth it to get this one. I never really seen much of the worth in getting the PS4, but the hardware bump in this new PS4 might just be enough to be worth it. Because I still feel the graphic quality and the power of the PS3 is still good enough. It's a very beautiful system. Uncharted 1 still looks extremely beautiful on the PS3. I love it. I love the games on the PS3. I didn't feel like there was much of a jump with the PS4 for there to be much excitement for it for me. But maybe the jump on this one, this new updated PS4, maybe the jump will be enough to be worth it. We'll see. So that's it for today. What do you guys think about it? Do you think it's okay for scumbags to hack Angry Joe's channel and leave weird, nightmarish videos on about raping and racism? Or are you into JRPGs or cowboys or overly expensive game systems that you could just use that money to get a car with? Who knows? What are you into? Let me know what your thoughts are. Until next time, I'm your graphics rogue. Later, folks. Peace.